Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Shards of Siberys. I know I don't normally sit here in Alice's chair. Unfortunately, Alice received some very bad news today, and she won't be able to join us for the stream. So I will be very shortly handing over to Faye, who will be dungeon mastering this wonderful backstory dip. But before I do, I thought I would do the intros. Please check out our social links. There is no such thing as social distancing. It's a lie, okay? There's simply distant socializing. Sounds much better, isn't it? Just slight nuanced difference. Come and be distant but social with us in the Discord. We've recently updated things over there, so it's now an opt-in server. You have to check through our documents and make sure that we're trying to make everyone safe. So if you don't worry if you log into the server and you can only see 1 or 2 channels, we haven't kicked you. You just need to go and subscribe to the thing in one of the channels, and then you'll have full access again. Okay. Also, Twitter. If you want to get into this game or a game very much like it, send me a DM on Twitter and we'll sort you out a game. Also, YouTube, tons of content over there. We've got something like 6 seasons, 12 shows per season, 36-ish hours per show. I'm not doing that maths. There's a lot of hours of content. Go and have fun. Knock yourselves out. If you can't sleep because the pandemic keeps you up at night. I know I've been there. Go and check all that out. Also, check out our sponsors. We are sponsored by Hero Forge. If for all of your magical miniature multi-hued needs, you can check out these here. You can currently make grayscale minis to your exacting specifications on their website. This is from their $3.1 million Kickstarter. This is not painted. This is printed in colored resin. And we'll be doing more with their prototype as it's released very, very soon. Also, check out Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press running the previous episode, Fae Folio content, and also The Dark Matter is available. You should go and check out this book. If you like space and you like D&D, this book's for you. Full of space stuff. Also, check out The Deck of Many. The Deck of Many things is normally a donation reward. Faye, would you be okay if I threw The Deck of Many at you?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Sure, yeah. So if you like, you can donate to throw The Deck of Many in and cause some chaos. By all means, have fun with that. And also catch Humblewood tomorrow at 6 p.m. EDT, where we play as woodland creatures trying to stop the forest from burning down. Lastly, our newest sponsor, Dungeon Fog. You can make all of your beautiful, comprehensive maps in their free tool. It is available for free. And as you add elements to the map, the GM notes dynamically update to include the things that you add. So it helps you write your DM notes for you. And if you like the tool and you want to upgrade to their premium service, you can use our special code to get a 10% discount. I'm going to introduce everyone, and then I'm gonna leave these wonderful people to their game. So let's go around this way. Since you are the dungeon master today, Faye, why don't we start with you, Faye?
Hello, I'm Faye. Oh my gosh, I'm very excited to be DMing today. I think it's like my 4th time ever, so hopefully it'll go well. I normally play Cinnamon Isleaf, who is an elf rogue, but today I'm gonna be God.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. We'll carry on around the screen and go next to Dungeon Dame. Oh, hi.
Well, hi, I'm Dungeon Dame, or Dame. I am going to be playing Midge today. She's a halfling ranger. I'm very excited. It's my first time on this channel. Very excited to play with everybody.
We are super excited to have you as well. Thank you so much for coming along. Next around the screen, we have that Dave guy. Oh, hi, Dave.
Hi, everybody. Also first time here, and I'll be playing a half-elf rogue named Emerson. Is going to get up to some mischief and intrigue and solving all sorts of mysteries like Sherlock Holmes. So, see how that goes.
Big fan of that. A big fan of that. And last but most certainly not least, Hans at Hansy Tweets.
Hey, I'm Hans. I'm going to be playing Basil Vildoran. I'm looking forward to playing with everybody, and Faye's going to run a game. That's awesome. Looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm going to get out of your hair and let you have a wonderful game of D&D as I update this overlay. I'm trying to quickly remove Alice's pronouns. There we go. So have fun, you all, and I hand over to you, Faye. Have a great
All
day.
right, awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. I guess we should just jump right in. So this is going to be a backstory for Basalt before, since we've had a little backstory for Cinnamon. So we are going to kind of jump back. Basalt, this is before you've met Cinnamon, before the current adventure, obviously. And you have been called to the city of Fairhaven. We are going to be starting in the tavern, the Wynard Tavern. And you've been called there because you, as we know, are part of a DragonMarked house. And they've asked you to come by to help out with a problem with House Cannith. And that's pretty much all you know. So you're in the tavern. It's kind of in the university district, honestly, next to the University of Wynard. So there's lots of, it's kind of collegey. There's, kids 18 to 22 mostly. Kind of the oldest person there is probably 30, like your grad student. So the question is, Basalt, do you know Midge and Emerson?
I'm going to say yes, because it sounds like really the better answer.
Sounds good. How do you know Midge and Emerson? And I'm assuming they're here with you because you've told them about this summons.
I would imagine in passing, and probably because Basil has never been to Fairhaven before, this is an opportunity for him to meet some people. Maybe he met them last night here at this very same tavern. So he knows one tavern and two people.
Awesome. All right. So let's hop over to Midge and Emerson. Do the two of you know each other before you met Basalt?
Good question. Midge probably knows quite a few people in town. She likes to come here to sell her hunting provisions that she collects throughout town. That's how she makes money for her family. So she probably knows a lot of people around here, give or take. I'm sure she's run into Emerson at least once.
All right. So what is everybody doing in this tavern, Basalt, as you're waiting for your contact person?
Eating. Preferably as many small dishes as can fit on this table. Eating, yes.
All right.
Eating sounds good. It's probably what Midge is doing too. Can never pass up some food.
I think Emerson would be checking out, people watching, basically, seeing who's around and seeing if anybody catches his eye. Maybe somebody looking a little bit fishy.
All right. So the three of you are sitting at a table. You have lots of small dishes that Basalt and Midge are picking at. Emerson, why don't you roll me a perception check to see if you see anything interesting?
All right. Let's see if I can do this. Sorry, using the Beyond 20 for the first time.
Yeah, we recently discovered it too. It's pretty great. Oh, nice. Okay. All right, so you are taking a look around the tavern and you see behind the bar is a barkeep. She seems like she's pretty busy. She's kind of overwhelmed with the work. It's, getting on into the evening. It's about 5, maybe 6 p.m. People are starting to come in. The college students are coming in after their classes. They're starting to order their beers and their ales. But, her help for the evening hasn't really come in yet. So she's like very quickly trying to fill as many glasses as possible, passing them out. And there's a few college kids getting their beers. Over to the left of where you're sitting is a pool table. Some people are playing pool. And then kind of directly behind you is kind of a rowdy group of kids, probably in their early 20s, playing some cards. Mostly the town is human, and most of the people here are human as well. There's probably a few elves scattered here and there, but really not a lot of other races. No one's super shifty looking. Mostly it looks like people are here to have a good time. It's like a Friday, for example. All right. So as you're sitting there, the door opens and in comes a woman who looks a little bit out of place. She is a little bit older than the crowd here. She's human as well, dressed very, very well in glamour weave, and just kind of strides in and goes directly over to your table. And she looks at you, Basalt, and says, Basalt Valdron, I assume. Sticks out her hand.
Basil is eating something sweet, and he has it half in his mouth at this point, where you push it down, and his fingers are really sticky, but he's doing this. And yes, that's correct. And you are?
Before I introduce myself, I'm assuming these are your associates. They are okay to talk around for some classified information?
Oh, I mean, I would vouch for them. I think they're both very trustworthy, but I suppose that's really up to your own best judgment, isn't it? I mean...
And your names? Just kind of a no-nonsense person. Gives you guys a very sharp look up and down as if she's just judging you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. My name is Mitch.
She kind of nods, doesn't really extend her hand.
My name is Emerson.
I suppose you look fine enough. She sits, and she says, well, let's get down to it. We don't have much time. I've called you here because there's been a little bit of a crisis. I assume you know Jorlana DeCaneth? And she kind of looks at you expectantly. And why don't all of you make me a history check?
Oh, good. A check. That's better than just pretending if I know or not. I like that much better.
Damn, Emerson. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Emerson, you know that Jorlana DeCaneth is she is the governor of Caneth West. So she, along with two of her relatives, have essentially been fighting over who should become the head of House Caneth ever since the last patriarch died. And so she has been probably the person that people have supported the least in becoming the new matriarch of House Caneth. And for Midge, you've heard the name, you know who she is. You probably don't know like the details. And Basalt, you have no idea who she is, which is a really interesting thing considering that you answered the summons. But all right, sounds good.
Basil gets a lot of jobs that his house just assigns to him, and he just has to go. So
yeah,
this is very on brand.
There you go. So she assumes, she kind of looks at you. She sees, Midge and Emerson kind of nodding. Basalt is probably still eating his sweets, and giving her that look. And so she just continues. Well, something's been happening with Nora, her heir. My name is Emma. I'm one of Nora's guardians, and one of Jorlana's trusted advisors. And, well, I suppose there's no way of going about this because I do need your help. Jorlana is engaged to be married to Elaine. He's the heir to the House Orion. And you guys can make another history check here too to see if you guys know who they are. Just kind of going through this very, very quickly. Again, Hans just has no idea. First time he's been in Fairhaven, he has no idea who any of the other DragonMarked houses are. But Emerson and Midge, you know that House Orion is another one of the DragonMarked houses. They are quite in a much higher standing than House Caneth. They're certainly intact. And the heir, Elaine, has been searching for a spouse to kind of help him essentially take over and have another heir to House Orion. And so this doesn't really come as much of a surprise to you. Most people know about this engagement. And she again kind of gives the three of you a sharp look to make sure that you know what she's talking about. And Midge and Emerson definitely seem like, they're nodding along. They're like, yeah, I know what's going on. And Basalt continuing to eat his sweets. Well, as I'm sure you know, Jorlana is supposed to have an engagement party this evening, and she's been preparing for it. Everything's been going well. A few days ago, she went down to the market to get some things. And once she unpacked everything, she found a note at the very bottom of her bags that said that if she were to go through with the engagement party and announce her intentions to marry Elaine, she would be killed. Now, no one else knows about this. But we need to figure out exactly who is behind all of this before this marriage doesn't go through. And you can imagine the repercussions between the houses. Right now, Governor Jorlana is suspecting that House Orion is trying to back out, and I assume that if Nora backs out of this, House Orion will be most displeased. And so to avoid another war, we're going to have to figure out exactly who is behind this.
Do you have the letter with you now?
I don't. We burned it.
How long ago did she receive it?
Just this last week.
Last week.
And that, Basalt, is when you received the summons to come to Fairhaven.
You don't happen to have anything that belongs to... this isn't really a finding matter, is it, really?
Well, it's a figuring out of who is behind all of this. Certainly, I would not want Lady Nora to be murdered for marrying Lord Elaine. So, certainly, if we figure out who is behind all of this to prevent that from happening, that would be ideal.
I think you're really going to need Midge and Emerson for this one as well, because honestly, if we find someone, they won't become lost to me. Once I find them, I can find them forever. But I have no idea who this person is, and until then, I have no idea who any of the people you're talking about are so far. I don't think that bodes that well.
You don't know who Governor Jorlana is?
No, I'm very sorry, but I'm recently from the Shadow Marches, and I don't have a lot of experience in this area.
And she kind of shakes her head a little bit because she can't comprehend that no one would know who these people are. This is like not knowing who the president is. And she looks at Midge and Emerson and she's like, do the two of you know who Governor Jorlana is?
Yes, of
yeah.
course.
And you can see kind of the wheels turning in her head a little bit. She's like, why did they send me this person to come and take on this mission when he has no idea who I'm talking about? And she says, and she kind of looks down and is like, this is what I have. What questions do you have? The engagement party is
Honestly,
tonight, so once we're done here, we do need to get you dressed and going.
And by me, you mean the three of us, correct?
Yes, the three of you, yes, if that's what it takes. Right now I'm thinking just the two of them, since they actually know who I'm talking about.
Again, if I manage to see the target that we're looking for, I will not lose them. That's my real only skill, frankly.
That is a good skill to have. Unfortunately, I have no idea who is behind this.
That's where Midge and Emerson would come in. I'm sure between the two of them and their talents, they will be able to discover the identity of the person we're looking for.
That's the idea, I suppose.
Is
Now
anybody
Oh, I'm sorry.
upset about the engagement? Sorry about that.
Well, I suppose Nora is not the most happy with it. She's never actually met Lord Elaine. As expected, these things are arranged. They're arranged marriages. They're There's no love, but it's just politics. You must understand.
I mean, I'm not a city folk myself, so I don't really understand, but I guess I can, they might find love. Does Lord Elaine want the engagement?
I don't have much contact with House Orion, but I assume that the engagement and the marriage would benefit both houses. Mitch, why don't you roll a persuasion check, see if you can get something else out of her.
Sure.
All right, a 12. Okay. So with a 12, she kind of leans in and she says to you, like I said before, this marriage is for the benefit of both houses. As you know, Jorlana de Cannith is trying to reunite House Cannith. And she is going to need the backing of someone powerful from House Orion. And so, with this union, the hope is that House Orion would back her in reuniting House Cannith. And in exchange, she is going to be giving the plans for the new light rails to House Orion. And Midge, with your previous role, you know that House Cannith has been kind of known as the innovative house. They were the people that originally came up with things like the Warforged. They initially came up with innovations like the light rail and the airships. They are really the people who have built all of these things, but kind of over time they've lost the control of them, and so other houses have, started to take over the ownership of certain airships and light rails, especially House Orion.
Well, I can't see it being House Orion. They would be getting some good stuff out of this, I guess. Do you know where exactly Governor Delana was shopping when she received that note?
So Nora was shopping in the markets. She went to multiple stalls. I assume to get things for her engagement party and for the wedding. So cloths, silks, jewelry, those kinds of things. Specific shops, I couldn't tell you.
Well, whoever slipped her the note would have been hanging around there somewhere. I guess that's a place to start.
We could. Unfortunately, the engagement party is tonight. It's in about, she kind of looks down at her watch, which is like this intricate kind of ticking kind of thing, in about 2 hours.
I don't assume the market is on the way.
Well, the plan was to stop by the markets to get you, the three of you now, I suppose, dressed for the engagement party. And she, looks you up and down.
What?
Midge, have you ever been to a DragonMarked house party?
Can't say that I have.
It's a bit of an affair. People are dressed very, very well, and we don't want you to stand out.
Okay, I guess. This is more comfortable.
Any other questions before we go?
Only about 1.5 million, but I don't think we have time for all that.
All right, then shall we go and get you dressed?
I guess so.
So I'm going to see if I can get them to put some of these foods in a small package or something like that, and then I'll just be a moment.
Emma kind of looks at you. She's never heard of doggy bags before.
I'm just going to get a handkerchief and put them in there if I have to. It's going to happen.
As you're doing that, she throws a coin onto the table to pay for the food and drink that the three of you have consumed.
No complaints there. Okay, so got the little bundle going, and if you're ready, I suppose we're all Ready?
All right, let's go. And she takes the three of you through the city, down from the University District into the Market District. And the Market District's kind of divided into two areas. There's kind of the where you would say the poorer people would shop, and then there is like basically like Fifth Avenue, where all the very rich people would shop. And she takes you kind of directly to that district, and she goes straight to a tailor, a clothing shop, and she walks in, doesn't knock, just opens the door. She basically seems like she's been here before, and she calls back towards the back of the shop, and basically says, Wendell, I have a job for you. And out of the back of the shop steps this very elegantly dressed human man in glamour weave, and he comes and he kind of eyes the three of you, and Emma says, "We need to dress them for a party." And he kind of looks at the three of you, looks at your clothes, and says, "All right, I can get them dressed in about 2 days." And she says, no, the party's in 2 hours. And you can see him just like wringing his hands. And you see her actually take out like quite a large bag of coins from underneath her cloak and kind of just drop it on the table. And he goes, yes, that's fine. Okay, 2 hours, that's fine. Who wants to start? Very flustered man right now.
I suppose I will.
Okay. Emerson, describe to me what you're wearing right now.
Kind of like a long beige overcoat, kind of mismatched shirt and pants, a little bit of a colorful scarf. Think like Sherlock Holmes, like Robert Downey Jr.'s is Sherlock Holmes, but with a beige overcoat.
Okay.
Kind of like a Dick Tracy detective, I guess.
So he kind of pushes you in front of one of those, I don't know if you guys have ever been to like one of those shops that have like the little stands and there's like 3 mirrors in front of you. And he takes out just like measuring tape, and he is measuring every part of your body. You didn't even know that there were parts of your body that needed to be measured, but he's like measuring everything. And as he's doing this, he's going, so favorite color?
I suppose black.
All right, I suppose black will do. Not exactly a party color. And he goes and he kind of mutters off to himself as he goes off to the back, grabs a piece of what looks like a very expensive glamour weave and brings it back to you and says, go in the back, try this on, hurry up.
Oh, all right.
And then he turns and says, who's next?
Oh, I guess me?
All right, favorite color. And again, he like pushes you up onto the stand, starts to measure every part of you, just measuring parts that you didn't need to know, that you didn't know needed to be measured. It's his favorite color?
Green?
Okay, green. And when he's done measuring you, he goes off into the back, grabs a piece of, again, this green glamour weave outfit, pushes it at you, and pushes you into the back and says, try this on.
Okay.
And you, sir. He turns to Basalt.
Yes.
Favorite color?
I end up wearing a lot of reds and blacks.
Red and black it is. And he, again, measures you as well. Probably a little bit more difficult because you have a little bit of a limp. And so he's like asking you to like, oh yeah. He's asking you to like, you know, put out one arm, put out the other arm, stand on one leg, stand on the other leg. It's very difficult.
Yeah. So Basil's doing the thing where he's got like the walking stick in one hand and passes it off to the other and trips a little bit. And yeah, it's a little affair.
And he goes into the back, takes out a piece of red and black, a glamour weave outfit, and then shoves it at you and asks you to go into the back to try it on. So Emerson, what do you look like?
Oh gosh. I'm thinking like penguin tuxedo.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, and I don't know, maybe like a just black tie, kind of very simple, but enough to be fashionable, I guess.
Yeah. I think when you step out, Wendell kind of tisks a little bit and kind of does a few adjustments, pins a couple of things back, hems your pants a little bit, and then says, "All right, he's done. How much more time have we got?" And Emma's checking her watch again and says, "About an hour." So Emerson, I think you're done. What about Midge? What does she look like?
Mitch is probably wearing a sparkly green, like forest green dress that's a one shoulder. And the design of the sparkles probably almost give off this feeling of bark. So it's all in kind of like the ups and downs with little swirls and stuff going on there. She feels very uncomfortable.
And he does the same thing. He does a few adjustments, but overall, the two of you, despite looking very, very uncomfortable, look great. All right. And Basalt, what do you look like?
So Basil's got like a tight-fitted jacket, like a Regency type jacket that's red with black buttons, and actually there's a little carved stone buttons, so that's kind of cool. He's wearing a tied ascot like cravat that's pushed into the front of the jacket, and then he's got like a bigger over jacket that he's just kind of like wearing.
All right. And again, a few adjustments are made, but overall, within the 2-hour limit with a few minutes to spare, the three of you are dressed for a DragonMarked house party. And so before you leave the shop, Emma says, "Oh yes, I almost forgot, invitations." And she hands out 3 invitations to you. And they essentially are hard paper, there's gold leaf on it, and it essentially says that you are invited to the engagement party of Lady Nora and Lord Elaine. Now, when we get to the party, under no circumstances are you to let anyone know that there has been a threat made against the Lady Nora. Is that understood? We must keep this secret. We don't want anyone else to know about it. But my hope is that whoever made that threat will be at the engagement party, and they will see that the engagement party is going through, and I assume that they may attempt to make their move then. So if you can find out anything at this party, that would be crucial. Is that understood?
Of course.
Now, is there anything else the three of you need before we go?
No? I don't think so. What do we need from parties? What do you bring to a party? Do we need to bring a gift?
Really just yourselves.
Okay, then no.
All right, so she is going to take you through the city again, and now you are walking into the districts that are close to the royal courts, kind of where definitely the upper echelon of the city live. And you come to the entrance at a gate, and you see kind of a long string of partygoers walking into this gate, showing a man at the gate their invitations and being waved into a huge mansion. No expense has been spared. There's lights, there's fountains, and presumably inside there's lots and lots of food. And so the three of you are ushered in after you show them their invitations. And you walk into the glittering ballroom of the Governor Jorlana's mansion.
Is it 1 floor or 2 floors?
It's probably one of those ballrooms where there's like an upper floor, there's 2 staircases that come down, and then there's like another staircase and then into the actual ballroom.
Okay.
And Emma says, "This is where I must leave you. I have to go see to Governor Jorlana and Nora and make sure that things are going smoothly for the evening." And she bows and leaves you to your own devices. What do you do?
I've always found that if one has to go to a party and you don't know anyone, the easiest way to meet people is to stand near the food. There might be other equally effective approaches, but...
Well, I've never been to a party, so if you say so, let's do food.
And Basil just kind of like slowly sideways moves over towards the food.
So the food is... there's food everywhere. There's it's one of those things where like there's like a buffet on both sides, and then there's like people serving drinks and walking around with hors d'oeuvres. Is there like a specific food station that you would like to go to, like towards the desserts versus like the main course versus the appetizers?
This is we've arrived fairly early in the party.
Yeah, you've come to kind of,
Okay.
you know, you're not fashionably late necessarily.
We're just regularly. We're not fashionable at all. We got here late, no problem. So it seems reasonable to start at the appetizer end of the food tables, doesn't it? There are these little things. It's something rolled up in something. I'm going to go try what that is.
Midge is gonna try whatever's next to it. Just like, she's probably like, she would normally pull her shirt out to kind of like fill it with food, or she goes to do that with her dress and forgets she's wearing a dress to kind of, and finds the nearest flat surface to start just like taking pieces of everything.
So this is pretty fancy food. There's, you know, definitely, and it's also very small. Each individual appetizer is like basically like half a bite. So there's, you know, like mini sandwiches. There's probably like little pieces of cheese wrapped in some kind of meat. Lots of different types of teeny tiny foods.
Midge-sized.
What's that?
It's midge-sized.
Midge-sized, exactly.
She's very happy. They made the food just for me, Basalt. Did you see it? Small, like I am.
I mean, there's probably other smaller people here as well, but I mean, there's no reason to think it isn't for you.
We got invited. It's got to be for me.
We do have actual invitations, that is true.
Yeah. They knew I was coming, so they made it just for me.
How are the guards? Are there like city watch or any sort of security around?
Yeah, make a perception check, Emerson.
Okay. Oh, cow.
You're just rolling really well.
Apparently so.
Yeah, so you can see, Emerson, while Midge and Basalt are just like shoveling food into their face, you're taking a look around to the entrances, the windows, things like that. And you see that the place is pretty heavily guarded. Not only are there 2 guards at every entrance, there are guards walking around, and also because this is the upper echelon, almost everybody that's here, they have a couple of guards with them. So there are people who are wearing different colors of their different houses, and they have guards of different, wearing the different garbs of their house. So not only do House Cannith have their guards, but definitely all the other DragonMarked houses and their kin that have been invited have brought their own muscle. There's lots of people with weapons.
Okay. Has let's see, Orion made an appearance yet, or?
So Lord Elaine of House Orion has not. But you can see that there's lots of people who are dressed very well, and you can see their dragon marks on them most of the time. A lot of them will have them on their neck or their arm. So if you want, you can certainly talk with people at the party.
Has anyone strayed into our vicinity of the appetizer table while we've been eating?
Yes. So, as you are eating, you see this kind of portly-looking gentleman come over, starts to take a few things. You've just now realized that at the end of the appetizer table are these like teeny tiny plates that they also put the teeny tiny appetizers on with like napkins and stuff. And so I think the two of you have just been picking at the appetizer table, and he comes along with his like tiny plate and is, very well mannered and taking like one of certain things and putting them on there. He's dressed in the colors of House Cannith, and he kind of takes a look at you guys, looks down at his food, and looks like he's about to walk away. So he doesn't know who you guys are.
Did you try the one where it's the thing that's rolled up on the other thing? That one right there? That's quite good.
Yes, I'm about to. Who are you? And Basalt, do you have like do you have like your dragon mark obviously somewhere?
Yeah, I think previously we said that Basil has like a pin that he wears on his coat that has the House Thrash logo on it, so he's probably doing the same now.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Merrick Stakanath.
Oh, it's very nice to meet you. I'm Basil Velderam from House Thrash, and this is Midge.
She's like chewing her one side of her mouth like a chipmunk is like stuffed with food and she's chewing it. Hi.
Now,
hello.
Is Emerson anywhere around us now, or has he left the vicinity?
Oh no, I would imagine he's still there. I just have like my back towards you, and I'm just like an owl, just kind of my head's on a pivot, just kind of looking around, watching everyone.
So Beth will do the slide to side thing and go, and this is Emerson.
Oh, hello there.
Hello. First time at a party?
Yes.
Well, the better food is over there, and he points over at the dessert station.
It seemed rude to start at the desserts.
Here's the secret, no one really cares.
It's true. I imagine what my grandmother would say. That was about it.
And who do you know? Cannith's side, Orion's side?
I mean, do any of us really know one another? In the end, I know Midge and Emerson quite well compared to how well I know either the Canniths or the Orions, but I think fondly of them both.
Who invited you? He's kind of a little bit like peeved now that you're like obviously doesn't know any etiquette and you don't know anyone at this party.
Hey, done my job. All right. No, we're here really with the Cannith side.
All right. That's fine. Well, I'll see you around. And he kind of walks off and is a little bit peeved.
Maybe we should have just gone straight to the desserts.
Well, let's go now. And Midge is gonna like mosey on over to the desserts.
And over at the desserts table is you see a very well-dressed and good-looking half-elf woman who is kind of studying the desserts, but hasn't really, it seems like, made her choice. Emerson, are you also going along with them, or are you still kind of checking out the muscle?
I want to watch as I walk with them. I want to watch where Marius is going, seeing if he's going to go interact with anybody in particular. But yeah, I'm heading in that direction with the dessert as well.
Okay. All right. So Emerson, you see Merrick's go off, and he goes off to talk with, it looks like a bunch of other people also dressed in the House Cannith colors. They're all human. Several of them are male. They look quite important, but actually, you're from here. Roll a history check. See if you know who they are.
Oh, okay. History is pretty good. 15.
All right. 15. Okay. So You can recognize that one of those people is Zorlin de Cannith. And you know that Merrick's and Zorlin don't get along. They are two of the other heads of House Cannith, and they are certainly contending with Jorlana as to who should unite House Cannith. And so to see the two of them kind of talking at this party is a little strange.
You said his name was Zorland?
Zorlin, yeah.
Zorlin.
Merrick's and Zorlin.
Merrick's and Zorland, okay.
And we'll skip over to Midge and Basalt. You guys are going over to the dessert table? Okay.
So
And what
we
are you
have
doing?
important questions.
All right.
Well, naturally we would go up to the desserts first, but in this case, you said there's a woman who's standing there who's perusing
There
the
is.
desserts, correct?
Yes.
Basil is going to be very forward and go up to her and say, have you decided which one looks best yet?
She seems a little startled that you've come up to her, and she says, well, I'm partial to the berries myself, but in this case, the cake looks particularly good.
How many tiers is this cake, Faye?
3. They haven't brought out the really fancy cake yet. That's for the end, you know, when like they announce the engagement party and stuff. So, 3-tiered
tiers is pretty
cake.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. It's magnificent. I can see why you would be interested in the cake.
At this point, this woman turns and kind of looks at you and says, I'm Erin, of House Lyrander. I don't believe I've ever seen you around here before. What's your name?
My name is Basil Felderan. I'm from House Thrashk, and this is Mitch
Hello.
and Emerson.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. Whose side are you on? Cannith, Orion?
I suppose Kenneth, but it does always sound so adversarial when we say it that way, doesn't it?
Oh, you know, I don't think so. It's kind of like when you come, you're like, do you know the bride? Do you know the groom? One of those things.
Yes, I don't go to a lot of weddings, probably because of that. But they do have cake. I should really think about it.
That's true. They usually have a lot of good food. All right, I've decided. I'm getting the cake. And she goes up and she like cuts herself a piece of the cake, puts it onto, again, one of those teeny tiny platters, and says, do you want a slice?
That would be wonderful. Yes, Mitch, would you like a slice?
Yeah, but can you put some of the berries on it?
Oh,
Sure.
clever.
And so you've got this very distinguished looking elven woman cutting you some cake and putting some berries on it. It looks like really good cake.
Emerson, are you indulging as well?
You know, actually, if it's all right, I'll have 2 slices if you don't mind.
Not my cake. She cuts you 2 slices.
Fantastic. And I would like to take my 2 slices to Merrick's and Zorland.
All right. Okay. Let's resolve what's going on with Midge and Basalt first here. And then we'll jump to you, Emerson. So, Midge and Basalt, I mean, it seems like you're having a pretty pleasant conversation with Erin over here. And she says, you know, Midge, I haven't seen you around. Are you friends with one of the DragonMarked Houses? How do you know House Cannith?
Oh, you know, I'm around. Yeah, hanging out around. I'm actually just really good friends with Basalt over here, who's good friends with the Cannith house. So I'm like a +1, really.
Oh, okay. All right. That totally makes sense. I am kind of too, you know.
Who are you here with?
Oh, well, I actually university friends with Nora. We actually went to university together. We studied the arcane arts, University of Winarn, you know. Yeah. And so she invited me here. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. She very excited for the engagement?
That's one way to put it. You know, she's never met Elaine.
Yeah. It's kind of tough. But at least she gets really good cake.
Yes. Oh, always the silver lining, right? Why don't the two of you make a little insight check? Ooh. All right. Midge, to you, Erin seems like she is pleasant, seems like she belongs here. She's friends with the intended bride. But Basalt, you seem to think that there's something more to what she's telling you.
It's Erin,
Perhaps
correct?
something that she's not saying.
Yeah. And her name's Erin. Did I get that right?
Erin, yes.
Erin, I have a question for you, if you don't mind. Number one, you were totally correct. The cake is delicious. It was the best choice. But number two, does this whole thing seem a little bit weird to you? This engagement?
I mean, yes and no. You see, I knew Nora quite well, and she's not one of those people who, goes around and just has arranged marriages. It's kind of old-fashioned, if you ask me. But then again, I always knew that she was heir to House Cannith and all of this stuff, so I guess I'm not surprised.
But we know how it goes, and you don't really want to say, oh, I have to marry someone because I'm a dragon-marked heir and all of these things. I mean, it's not very progressive, is it?
No, definitely not at all. I mean, she really should have just followed her heart, I guess.
I always got the impression that Nora had her own plans,
Why don't you make a persuasion check?
Yes, that's going to go fine. That'll be fine.
It's not bad. She tells you, yeah, I always thought so too. I mean, kind of went our separate ways after university, but I always thought that she and I had a thing.
I mean, it's a political marriage, sort of.
Yeah, you could say so. Everyone knows that, Jorlana's trying to be the matriarch of House Cannith, and House Orion's going to help out with that. But, I mean, what can you do? She starts very quickly eating her cake, realizing that she's kind of said a little too much to you.
That was pretty much what I was going to do too, is eat cake, so perfect.
Mitch has been eating cake aggressively this whole time, listening to the story, like...
Now that we've gotten to the good stuff, we will just eat cake. It's perfect.
Yeah. So all three of you are just sitting there, like, awkwardly eating cake very quickly. All right, let's leave
there's a sympathy there.
Yeah. Let's leave the three of you with your cake, and let's hop over to Emerson. Emerson, what are you doing?
So I'm just very casually taking these 2 plates of sliced cake over to these 2 gentlemen,
Okay.
I come up to them and say, excuse me, have you tried this cake? It is fantastic. And just kind of hand them their plates whether they want them or not.
Merrick's turns to you and says, Emerson, was it? Yes. Thank you. I suppose you really took that advice about the desserts quite well, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
And he turns to the man that he's talking to, and he says, Zorlin, this is Emerson. I don't know quite how I know him, but Emerson, this is my cousin, Zorlin.
Ah, fantastic. Nice to meet you.
Of House Cannith South.
Yes, I noticed by your colors and your mark there.
So essentially, so Zorlin turns to you. He is looks quite a bit younger than his cousin. He also has looks like he's also very well dressed. Has his 2 bodyguards kind of behind him. He looks you up and down and says, Thank you for the cake. How are you? How do you know House Cannith, House Orion?
Oh well, I was invited, and I hold up my little invitation very proudly, and just families getting together like this, and marriages just bring out the best in people, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose. If you'll excuse us, we have some family matters to get back to, and he very rudely turns his back to you.
Oh yes, of course. Well, hopefully everything goes well in this engagement. Yes, we're hoping for the best here.
And you see Zorlin kind of turn back to you, and he gives a little sarcastic smile.
Okay. As I kind of turn away, can I look at his person and see if there's any hidden daggers or anything that he's trying to purposely conceal?
Yeah, sure. Make a perception check.
Okay. Oh.
Oh no. Well, you can see that his bodyguards are not hiding any of their weapons. In fact, it doesn't look like anyone here is hiding any of their weapons. He's very clearly wearing a sword at his side. But other than that, you don't see any other weapons. But you know that that's not really abnormal. Everyone else seems to also be wearing their weapons out and proud, so you don't know.
Okay. I'll just kind of scan the crowd for Midge and Basalt and head in their direction.
All right. And as you get over to Midge and Basalt, they're still standing there with Aaron. All three of them are very deep in their cake, and it looks like something awkward has just occurred.
Did I miss something?
I believe you ate both slices of cake so quickly. I mean,
It was fast.
Yeah, it's very good cake.
Yeah, it's good cake, right? And she says, excuse me. And she takes this chance as you arrive to kind of walk off, kind of embarrassed.
She seemed nice.
I get that a lot.
People walk
I feel
away
like
from
that
you a
happens
lot.
often. Yes, I think so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, I think she said more than she planned to, and I mean, that's embarrassing.
It's true.
She said something.
I think her and Nora and Kenneth used to be in a relationship of some kind.
And how is she taking this arrangement?
Well, she was eating that cake quite quickly.
Ah, understood.
Possibly eating her feelings. That's what I do.
Yes, well, I tried to chum up those two gentlemen over there, and I kind of head nod towards the two Merricks and Zorlin, who I assume are walking away at this point. And I didn't quite get very far with them, but something has to be going on here.
So, again, our goal is to find out what's happening and who is threatening Nora. And right now, our best suspect is, I don't think it's Erin. I think that would be out of character. She seemed more concerned than she did upset.
What about those two? They seem suspicious.
It's hard to say. They're with the Kenneth family. I wouldn't think they'd want. I would think that they want this marriage to continue for the, strengthening of the family and all that. But it's difficult to say.
DragonMarked Houses are very unusual, and they do tend to prioritize winning over doing things that are smart, as far as I can tell, or at least compassionate.
And as the three of you are talking in front of the desserts table, a very tall, muscular, well-armored gentleman comes over to you and says, well, are the three of you going to be blocking this area the whole night?
Yes.
I'm going to turn around, and Basil's like a little bit over 6 feet tall. So how much taller is this person?
So you're a half orc, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So he's a human, so he's tall for a human. He's probably like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay. So we're just like right there. So great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you want a slice of cake? We could get you a slice of cake.
Well, yes, considering that I paid for most of this, yes.
Excellent. I'm Basil Velderan from House Thrash. Nice to meet you.
Quathi Dorian. And the three of you can roll roll history checks to see if you know who Quathi is.
Looking forward to another 6.
And for once, Emerson has no idea who this person is. Let's say this. So, Midge, you know exactly who this is. This is the patriarch of House Orion. He is the father of Lord Aiden, basically father of the groom in this case for the engagement party. And he is like House Orion is a very well-to-do house. He is probably the most important man right now in this room. And he is asking you guys to move out of the way. So I think, the name Quathi Dorian, it like rings something in the back of your mind. You're like, I've definitely seen this or heard of this somewhere because you've, been around DragonMarked Houses before. You don't really remember. You think like this person might be important, but you're not sure. And Emerson, I don't know why, but you know who everybody else is, but you have no idea who this person is.
Yeah, it just slips my mind. I don't know.
I think all of Basil's history training was done while he was like hiking long stretches of the Shadow Marshes, like being put through intense survival training. So it's all gone out the other ear. But this person did say he paid for all of the food, and Basil can put 1 and 1 together at an engagement dinner. So with that, he says, I'm sorry, let us get you a slice of cake. And he goes over there and personally cuts a slice of cake and puts it on a plate and hands it to this man.
Oh, well, thank you. And I see you're from House Thrash. He looks down, sees your dragon mark.
That's right, Basil Felderan from House Thrash. Yes, thank you. This is Midge, and this is Emerson.
Hello. Yes. And I assume you know the Lady Nora and Governor Jorlana.
Yes.
He doesn't really know you. He's just assuming that you're with the other side.
Works out well for us, yes.
Well,
yes, and
enjoy the party.
What a wonderful. Yes, thank you. Yes. No, that's all I think. Yes, thank you for having us.
My lord, are you very happy to see this marriage take fruit?
Well, it's time that Elaine was married. It's time we had an heir for this house, and frankly, Lady Nora seems as good as any.
Yes, from what I understand, House de Kenneth is also looking forward to this, so it seems like a well-matched marriage.
Yes, well, they are getting quite a lot out of this, aren't they?
Indeed.
And he is gonna shuffle off if you guys don't have any other questions for him. He seems like the tight-lipped kind of person. Doesn't really talk that much.
Is he wearing any fancy, being obviously the father of the bride, or groom rather, is he wearing any fancy jewelry or any signet rings that kind of depict his station?
Make me another perception check.
Oh, okay. Come on.
Okay, all right. So with an 11, you see that he is dressed very well. And it seems like normally he's a guy that wears, lots of rings, wears a really nice fur cape, has jewels on the handles of his swords. And you don't really see any significant, anything other than the father of the groom would be dressed up as. There's no other rings or anything like that, or anything that you think is significant on him.
Okay.
And you don't even know who he is. So.
Yeah. I just assume he's like a noble, and so I'm like looking for those telltale signs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So after he walks away, you hear a very distinctive ding, 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 ding. And you see that up front, kind of near where the staircases are, is an older human woman. Looks like she's probably in her 50s or 60s. She's holding up a champagne flute and knocking it with her spoon to get everybody's attention. And kind of as this happens, everyone in the party room starts to quiet down. They look up at her and she says, "Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming to the engagement party of my heir, Nora, and Lord Elaine of House Orion. As you know, this is a very auspicious match, and we are very happy that the two young people seem so compatible." And she smiles. For those of you that don't know me, I am Governor Jorlana, and myself and Lord Quathi of House Orion both would like to welcome you and thank you for coming. Please enjoy the party, and joining us shortly will be our bride-to-be, Nora, and Elaine. And so she kind of does a little cheers. And you notice that somehow everybody else in this room, other than the three of you, have somehow gotten champagne glasses. And they take a drink.
Raise her cake plate and then they take a bite.
All right, so as everyone kind of toasts to the to-be bride and groom, you see one of the doors at the very top, kind of on the left side, if you're looking at it, of the doors open, and out of that door steps a very well-dressed man. He looks very much like the gentleman that you just met, Quathi. He looks like a much younger version of him. He walks down, and you can pretty much assume that this is Lord Elaine. And as he walks down, people are clapping. He kind of does the little like awkward wave, walks down the staircase, comes down, and takes Governor Jorlana's hand, and kind of turns around, shakes his father's hand. And the three of them look up towards the right, where there's another door, and that door opens. Out of that door walks a young, fairly attractive human woman. She is wearing a beautiful white glamour weave. She is wearing lots of fancy jewelry, especially a very, very large diamond ring that you can see on her left hand. And she also begins to descend the stairs. She looks down at the crowd. Again, the crowd kind of claps. She looks at Jorlana. She looks at the people from House Orion. She seems to smile a little. She does that kind of awkward wave thing. And just as she walks down the staircase, before she gets to that second set of stairs, suddenly, it's as if the entire room has been cast into fog cloud, and everything goes black. There's a few screams. Someone says, "Oh my gosh, what happens?" There's essentially panic for about 30 seconds of darkness. Is there anything that the three of you would like to do in that 30 seconds of darkness?
Yep.
I kind of want to see if I could tell where that came from. The spell itself.
Okay. Tell me how you would do that, because you are blinded at this point.
Right. So we saw her come down, and then the fog cloud just kind of appeared. What was the radius of that? Just filled the whole room effectively?
To you, it seems like it filled the whole room. You can't see. Yeah.
All right. So I guess in that way, I wouldn't really be able to tell then. So I guess I would just then grab my rapier on my side and just grab the handle of it. Don't draw it quite yet, but have it ready.
Okay. All right. Midge, Basalt, anything that the two of you want to do?
Can Midge still see like her cake in front of her? Like,
No. It's like you can't even like see your hands waving in front of you. You're still holding your plate, so you can feel
I
it,
can
but you
feel the
cannot
plate.
see it. You cannot see it.
Oh dear. I think Midge probably would kind of reach around. She would have had her bow with her, but unstrung, so she might be like trying to fumble with that right now.
Okay.
So, what are the chances that in the time that the fog cloud started, I could have hunters marked Nora?
I think I would let you save for that. What kind of save do you think would be fair?
Well, I want to say charisma because that sounds like something I would be good at. And it's spellcasting. And if we say dexterity, I'm going to be real bad at it. So I'm going to say charisma would be really nice.
All right, sure. Make me a charisma saving throw. I would say this is
Really,
hard
DC.
though. This is hard though. It's going to be at least a
Okay.
DC 15
Okay,
because you
let's
didn't
see.
suspect that this fog cloud was going to come out. Oh, all right. Okay, great. You have hunters marked Nora.
It's the only thing I do.
Okay, and so about 30 seconds passes, the fog cloud dissipates, and in front of you, standing looking very bewildered, are Elaine, Quathi, and Drolana, and no Nora. And I think that's where we'll take our break.
Oh. Nice.
All right.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna come and fade you all across now. Everyone, take a break, stretch your legs, grab a drink, do all the things that you need to do to remain human. If you've been sitting in your chair since we began, it is time to stand up and take a short walk, my friend. Perhaps grab yourself a glass of water or something. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
All right, I definitely have to go to the bathroom. See you guys soon.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a fantastic break. Without any delay, I will hand you straight back over to Captain Faye. Faye!
Hello. All right. Welcome back, everybody. So, to recap, you have all been hired for a job to figure out what's been going on and why there are death threats against Lady Nora once she announced her engagement to Lord Elaine. You've come to the party. You've enjoyed some nice refreshments. You've met some characters, some more shady than others. And just as they were about to introduce Lady Nora, there was a huge fog cloud over the entire room, and she has now disappeared now that the fog cloud has come up. As you can imagine, the room is in a panic. Everyone is shocked. Plates are being dropped. People are running around, running into each other. And you see that, Lady Jorlana and Quathy, Lord Quathy, are turning on each other. And you can see even from this part of the room, kind of across the room, that the two of them have gotten into a very heated argument. Clearly, they seem to think that this has to do with the other person. What do you do?
Is everyone being vacated?
At this point, no. It doesn't seem like anyone has had the wherewithal to organize anything. The people are kind of just running around. There are women fainting, men fainting, people having to sit down. Some people just being like, was that a party trick? What's happening? No one, at least for the first few minutes, no one is really taking ownership of what's happened.
Unless one of you has a good idea of how to navigate this situation, I did manage to place a spell upon Nora before she left, and I think that we can follow her.
Oh, that would be incredibly handy.
So let's just move in that direction slowly and not draw too much attention, and we'll go find where she is.
Right. As you start to move through the room, you catch out of the corner of your eye Emma running towards the three of you. And she sees the three of you run towards you and kind of just says, "Thank goodness that the three of you are here. I knew that something was going to happen. I didn't realize that it was going to be this bad. We are shutting down the entire mansion. Everyone in here is not to leave. No one can come in. No one can go out. Whoever has taken Nora is still here."
Right. I was just going to go follow where Nora went right now.
How do you know where Nora went?
I cast a spell on her right before she was taken, and if we progress in that direction, we should be able to find her.
She looks very impressed with you right now. She had no expectations for you because you had no idea who any of these people are. She is very impressed with you right now. And she's like, "Well, all right, do your thing then." Oh, I should warn the three of you. The mages are casting a spell now. No one is to go in. No one is to leave the grounds. And we've also cast silence around the area. So nothing that happens here inside can be heard from the outside. And similarly, nothing outside can be heard from within. Whatever happens to that person who has taken Lady Nora, the rest of the world does not need to know about it.
It seems like it would make it difficult to cast further spells from this point if we find the culprit.
So what she means is that right now it's just that it's not really silence. It's basically that you can't hear anything that's going on outside, and people who are outside can't hear anything that's going on inside.
So we're going to be in a bubble.
You're going to be in a bubble.
Okay.
She's
right.
essentially giving you a license to do whatever you want, and no one's going to find out about it.
Okay, well, we'll come back for more cake later, but for now. So, we'll go then, and we'll go find Lady Nora.
All right. Good luck. I will be here with the guards, and it'd be best if you brought back whoever was behind this alive, but I understand if you have other methods.
I don't think we'll be using those other methods. I think we'll probably bring them back alive. Midge, did you plan on killing anyone today?
Not unless they steal my food.
Right, Emerson? No? All right, I think we're all right.
All right. Good luck. And she turns around and she kind of starts giving orders to the guards that have been standing at the doorways. And they start to try and organize the people who are in the room who are now just, who have kind of all gone into disarray, trying to get people to calm down, trying to get them to be directed towards the food, to sit down and kind of explain the situation.
So can I just progress in the direction of the Hunter's Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. How does that Hunter's Mark work, Hans? I haven't really played a character with Hunter's Mark. Do you just know exactly where they are, or is this still kind of like a tracking kind of thing?
The way it's supposed to work is I'm supposed to get advantage on any perception checks to find the target.
Okay. In that case, why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check to kind of figure out where she is?
Okay, and Basil's a really annoying character because I also get to add a D4 on top of that.
Ooh,
so
all right.
It's just a lot of dice.
Okay.
So that's real bad. And I don't think I get any cool rerolls at this point. I think I'm out of those.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a 13.
13. Okay. So with a 13, you have a general sense and you can kind of, you look around and you see that, so there's a few ways out of this room. Two of them include the staircases into those doors back there. There's the entrance where you came, and you know that goes to kind of the front door. And then there's one other exit that's kind of on the other side. So basically two in the front of the ballroom that goes into the house where the two people came out of, one that you came in, and then another exit that you don't really know where that goes to.
Okay. Does it look like that's maybe like a service exit just by the layout, or is that intuiting too much?
Sure. But with a 13, I think you can kind of intuit that. You've seen people come in and out with like their hors d'oeuvres on their plates. Sure.
Okay. I mean, that is the one thing I would be paying attention to. So, all right. And that's the direction that we're heading in, is the service entrance?
You can.
Okay. So we'll just do that. We'll just mosey over towards the service entrance.
Okay. All right. So you walk to the service entrance and you see that very quickly it leads into the kitchens. There are servants back there. They're kind of just talking amongst themselves, not really paying attention to you because this is just the biggest news that they're going to be going home and telling their families, which is that a member of House Cannith just literally disappeared the day of her engagement party. So they're whispering, no one's really doing anything anymore, and they're assuming that no more food is needed and that the party is going to dissipate. So they're just all talking amongst themselves. They're just mostly servants. And then you see that there's a couple of exits. One is an exit that looks like it goes into the back gardens. And then there's another exit that looks like it goes further into the house.
Okay. Does one strike me as being a better idea than the other? Any ideas at this point, magically, or am I kind of on my own?
Yeah, as you are kind of contemplating where to go, a guard comes into the kitchen. Everyone kind of shuts up, and that guard, she stands very menacingly in front of the exit to the gardens. And you realize that this is probably Emma's doing, right? She's setting up guards in front of all the exits of the houses so that you're not allowed to leave.
It makes good sense. So we'll just go in the other direction, go further into the house.
All right. So as you go further into the house, past the kitchens, you get into kind of the more living areas of the house. And here you see that there is basically kind of one way to go. So there is a staircase that leads you up to the second floor. And so, go ahead. I'm assuming you're going up the staircase. I was going to say, and as you go up the staircase, you see that there are several rooms. So the staircase kind of opens up into a hallway, and there are several rooms, 3 rooms, in fact, that you can see, doors, all of which are closed.
So Basil turns to Midge and Emerson and says, Emerson, Midge, I just want to let you know, to be perfectly frank, when I get to about this point, I am going entirely on instinct. All of my magic is kind of internal, and it's very much just instinct based. So I'm not really sure why we're here or which of these doors is correct. And if anything strikes you as a bad idea, let me know. I've been wrong before.
Would now be a good time to say that I can actually detect magic.
Oh yes, if that's something you feel like you'd like to do, that's not really something I do.
So hypothetically, I could detect the spell that you cast on Nora.
I think that would depend on what the DM thinks about how that works. I don't know, but if you'd like to attempt that, by all means, feel free.
Would that work? Would detect magic be able to pick up on a spell that's been like put on another character?
Thank you, everybody, for the hype train and the raiders. Yay! Okay. So what's the radius on detect magic again?
It's 30 feet in around me, and its concentration up to 10 minutes.
So you can certainly cast it, but you don't know without casting it if you can see where that hunter's mark is, because you don't know where she is. So if she's within 30 feet, absolutely, you would be able to detect that. But if she is outside of that 30 feet window, then you would not be able to find it.
Right.
There might be some other magic as well. I mean, this person's used magic once already.
The only thing is, I can do it once a day. So once it's gone, once it's up for 10 minutes, I won't be able to cast it again.
I can't think of anything that could probably be more important than finding Lady Nora right now. That is kind of the center of everything, don't you think?
Indeed. All right, well, let's give it a shot then. So Emerson will cast Detect Magic.
Yeah. All right.
And concentrate on that.
Okay. So you don't detect the hunter's mark at this point.
Okay.
But you do detect the traces of potentially like a movement spell of some kind. And that seems to be like this shimmering gold and gray spell that has lingered outside of door number 2 of the 3 doors.
Door number 2. All right. So I'm seeing this nice shimmering spectacle coming from this particular door. Now Emerson will lead him over to that door there. And I would like to check it for traps.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So is that a perception?
Okay. Yes, please.
So. Ooh.
All right. I'm going to do the annoying DM thing and say you don't think there are any traps. You don't see any traps.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Does it seem locked?
You can try the handle.
I do try the handle.
It is not locked. It is open. You can open the door and step right into the room. And there are no traps.
Okay.
It's a room in someone's house. No one's trapped in.
You never know. Okay. So very carefully open the door and peek in.
Okay. It seems like it's a pretty normal room. It's quite grand with respect to what you have seen in terms of rooms, as befitting someone of House Cannith. There's a 4-poster bed. There's a very nice dresser in the corner, what seems to be a wardrobe and a bookcase. And there's a balcony as well. But really, it seems like it's a pretty normal room.
Is the shimmer in the room at all still?
Yes. So you see that trace of shimmer next to the bookcase. Why don't the 3 of you roll me a perception check?
Do I get to use the advantage from the hunter's mark? Does that
Yes.
apply?
Yes.
All right.
Nice. All right. Okay. So Emerson and Basalt, you see from the bookcase and from the wardrobe that this appears to be a woman's room. It seems like, there's a dress that's been thrown over onto the bed, the wardrobe slightly open, and there appear to be dresses as well. There's like makeup and also like a mirror on the dresser. It seems like this is a woman's room. And with what did you get? A 21. So you can tell that this is likely Lady Nora's room.
Mage Emerson, do you think this is Lady Nora's room? I mean, it looks...
Is the dress on the bed white?
The dress on the bed is not white. It appears to be a more simple dress than the one that you saw on Lady Nora. Probably the one that, she was wearing before she changed into that dress.
Looks like something maybe she would wear. Could be her room.
So this bookcase.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is there any other like effects that would indicate like that she was like working on something, maybe like a letter or something?
No, you don't see like a desk with anything on it that looks like she's been writing.
Okay.
So the bookcase is being a little shimmery. Is that what we had found out?
Yes, the bookcase is being a little shimmery.
Emerson, do you think it's safe to try to move the bookcase?
We can certainly try. So go up to the bookcase and kind of look on the floor to see if there's any like scratch marks to indicate like how if it like moves out or like shifts from left to right.
Make me another perception check if you're gonna start moving books around and taking a look.
Well, I was looking at the floor more specifically.
Oh, the floor
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
Okay, same thing.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. So you're looking at the floors and I'm assuming that you're kind of like getting down on the floors and like knocking a little bit on the floors and like knocking
looking
on
for like grooves or anything that would indicate like how does it like shift around? Does it move into the wall kind of thing?
Yeah. So you're knocking on the floor, you're knocking the walls. You look a little bit like crazy to Midge and Basalt because you're just like getting on your knees and like starting to do some knocking.
Oh yeah.
But with a natural 20, you hear that the walls around the bookcase sound hollow. And as you're moving around and kind of like feeling around, you press on one book and the entire bookcase just kind of moves into the wall.
Okay.
And you find a passage.
Voila, as they say.
Well, that seems suspicious.
Does the shimmer continue forward into the passage?
The shimmer actually stops there. And you think that maybe whoever had cast that shimmer had probably just teleported or whatever from the door or from the stairs into the room.
Okay, I gotcha.
Well, unless one of you would like to go first, I'm happy to go first. I would hate for one of you to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm generally not good at the front of the line.
It's fine by me.
That's fine. I don't know if I brought this up before, but when I do end up in a situation like this, I'm not the best at exercising restraint. So it's much safer for you to be behind me than in front of me in case I set something on fire.
Oh, good to know.
That is very good to know.
Very frequently happens.
Why didn't you tell us about this
But
earlier?
This is when it really seems relevant, to be frank.
You're just contemplating every single encounter they've had so far. Like, could she have been lit on fire?
Yes, but
Oh, hi everyone. We just hit a level 5 hype train, which means all of the players get 2 advantages and 2 nat 20s to use at their leisure.
Ooh.
Faye, you have 8 disadvantages to throw at the players at your leisure. But also, players, I'm going to need you all to draw from the deck of many. Now, I'm not sure if Faye has one on hand, but I certainly do. So I will shuffle the cards. I'll draw your cards for you, send Faye what they mean. Faye has complete dominion over this deck of cards in my hand. If she wants to change the meaning to something else more appropriate, that is entirely up to her. Let's fly around. I will start with Hans.
There's got to be a cake card. There's got to be one that says cake.
You say when?
Oh, when?
Okay. Dave.
That was fine.
Oh, when?
Now?
When? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And Dame.
No.
Oh boy. Okay. I will send those to Faye. Thank you very much, everyone. All the hype, all the love. See you soon. Bye.
All right. I'm very excited about my 8 disadvantages that I'm going to have to use up in an hour. I'm just kidding. I'm probably not going to use all of them in an hour.
Just go for it. Everything disadvantage.
Everything disadvantage.
Now we'll have a rep and nobody will mess with you as a DM because they'll be like, oh no, you remember that one time she just took everybody out?
TPK right now. No, we can't TPK because Basalt clearly goes on past it.
They've got spells for that. We're fine.
Okay, so you guys are contemplating marching order at this point.
Yep, Basil's going first, rolling up his sleeves.
I think Midge is probably farther back than she would have originally been had she not known about the fire.
Okay.
I suppose I'll take up the rear then.
All right, so you're marching Basalt, Midge, and Emerson. And to be clear, it seems like a pretty narrow passageway. Only one person can go at a time. All right, so you follow the passageway. There's really only one way to go, and it seems that you are moving down. Down, kind of, it seems like you're not moving so far down that you're going underground, but certainly you're no longer on the 2nd floor of a mansion. And as you follow the tunnel down into its depth, you come to the very end, you find a wooden door.
Light it on fire.
I could do that unless one of you... I could just open the door, just try the handle myself.
Well, that's not as much fun.
It's probably quite a bit faster.
Fine.
Well, I will try the handle of the door.
It's locked.
Yes, I should have seen that coming.
Fire.
Al, any other not fire suggestions?
Is everything all right up there?
Just the door is locked, and right now our options are fire.
Oh, okay. Hang on one second. Excuse me. All right. Then work my way up to the door, get out my thieves' tools, and try and pick the lock.
Okay. Roll me a sleight of hand.
All right.
All right. Sorry, I wasn't looking at it. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes, you effortlessly open this door. And are you going first then, Emerson?
Well, as I open the door, what do I see? That will determine whether or not to go first.
Okay. So you're going to like peek through the door?
Yeah.
You peek through the door, and from that little sliver that you can see when you're peeking through the door, it looks like you're outside. And it looks kind of like you're maybe in the courtyard or the backyard of the mansion.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go ahead and open the door all the way and then very carefully step out and look around, make sure, no, not going to be ambushed by anything.
All right. Why don't you make me a perception check
Oh gosh.
as the first person who's stepping out?
Wow.
My gosh. Jeez. Okay. All right. So you look and directly in front of you, you see a carriage. You see the Lady Nora bound hand and foot. You see her gagged. And standing next to her are three figures who are trying to basically wrestle her into this carriage. And you look closer and you recognize one of them. This is Lady Erin of House Lyrander. She hasn't heard you yet or seen you.
So I'll very quietly turn and put my finger to my lips, kind of trying to get the other two to enter into the outside, I guess, as stealthily as they can. And very carefully take out a hand crossbow and prepare it as I move out of the way and making way for them to come through.
Why don't all three of you make stealth checks at disadvantage?
Oh no.
Oh, my stealth is already so bad. I mean, well, I thought it would be a disadvantage, but okay.
Basalt, your stealth is great, apparently.
Every time I say this is what happens.
Some reason it's not coming through.
Maybe try one more time. Sometimes it's slow.
Hang on. I guess.
All right.
Wait, oops.
I'll take that first one if that's okay. I'll just take the 4 + 3.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Okay. So Basalt of all people is able to get out very sneakily. And unfortunately, Midge and Emerson, as you are getting past the door, I think what happens is like the hilt of your rapier scrapes against the door and like makes this like huge scraping sound.
Oh.
And Midge, as you are coming out behind Emerson, I think, he kind of pauses trying to like wrestle his rapier away from the door, and you bump into him and it's very loud. And it's just kind of like this, oh, hey, what's going on? What's happening? But Basalt, you, of all people, step out very, very stealthily.
I'm going really slow compared to everyone else.
All right. And with this noise, the 4 people near the carriage hear you and they turn around. And Lady Erin looks immediately at the 3 of you. And she takes a moment, she stares at you. She seems a little bit perplexed that the 3 of you are the people that have found her. And she especially looks at Basalt and says, "What are you doing here?"
I'm sorry, but we do have to return Lady Nora to her family.
I thought you, of all people, would get it.
Oh, I do.
Then you know that this marriage can't occur.
I understand it emotionally, like as a person, but this does seem to be kidnapping as well.
Emotionally? No. There's no emotions. We had a thing, that's over. This is about the delicate balance of the DragonMarked houses. That's why I thought you would understand.
I totally misread what you were saying. Yes, you're right. I should have understood that as well. Everyone in a DragonMarked house is terrible, so it's very hard to tell in which way you're trying to control things.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that House Cannith and House Orion can't unite. They would be too powerful together. They would own all the airships, all the light rails. They essentially would have say over all the trade over this entire continent. So of course this can't go through. So If you understand what's going on, then you'll let me continue with what I'm doing and turn around and pretend like you haven't seen me. And she goes back and continues to try and push Lady Nora into the carriage. Lady Nora is putting up a very good fight, though, despite being bound and gagged.
Lady Erin, we are going to stop you, but additionally, this does seem rather rude of you. Also, I don't think Emerson and Midge would let me just walk away. They're very serious about things like this. I would go back and have another slice of cake, but we were told this is our job that we're here to do.
Then you leave me no choice. And she turns to the other two people who are next to her, who happen to, they're these huge bodyguards of hers, who are helping her push Lady Nora into the carriage, and they successfully do so. And why don't the three of you roll for initiative? And I will roll for initiative for these people.
Unexpected.
Okay. Hold on while I write down everybody's initiative order. Okay. All right. So, Basalt, you are first.
It's because I'm so steamed by the way that she blew us all off. That's just not right.
Yeah, definitely. And you also made it out so sneakily.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, so I have a question. So there's a carriage, and
Yes.
Lady Nora has not been pushed inside it, correct?
She just has been pushed inside.
Got it. And then the other three people are all standing next to the carriage.
They're all standing kind of in a row in front of the carriage. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The door specifically. Yes.
Perfect. And is there any chance that there's somebody also driving the carriage that we can see?
No, you don't see anybody who's driving the carriage. Presumably, she thought that the three of them were good enough to pull off this heist.
Okay. So I know I just threatened to set everybody on fire, but I'm going to do the only other thing that Basalt does, and I actually haven't done this often in this show. I'm going to cast Earth Tremor as a second level spell, and I'm just going to try to shake all three of them down to the ground.
All right.
So
Unfortunately
make
for you,
save.
Hans, you have gotten the wild magic surge. So
right.
instead of casting Earth Tremor, you are going to teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see.
Awesome. And it's my choice?
It is your choice.
I am inside the carriage.
You are inside. Oh, you can't see inside the carriage.
Oh, darn. That was way too easy. Okay, can I be on top of the carriage? Like physically just on top of it? Like
Sure, you can be on top of it. Yes, you can. So you're in the front of the carriage, like at the driver's seat?
That sounds right.
Sure. Yes, you can do that.
So Basil has never done that before. That's definitely not in his spell book. So he goes pop, and he's on top of the carriage, and Emerson, Midge, your turn.
All right. Are you done, Basalt?
Yeah, I think I'm done there.
All right, Midge, it is your turn. What are you gonna do?
Midge is going to. No, I'm not. Okay. Midge is going to cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
On Aaron.
On Aaron. Okay.
And then she is going to shoot her with her bow.
Okay.
Oh, I still got disadvantage on. Sorry. 14.
Okay. 14. 14 hits.
Ooh. 11 piercing.
Okay. All right.
And I guess she's gonna scoot out of the way of the pathway they just came.
Uh-huh. Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
All right. It is Emerson's turn. You guys all rolled better than my evil people.
Right. So, oh gosh. I guess I will take out my rapier and go for one of the. Seeing how Aaron is being handled, I'll go after one of the guards, and I will use a bonus action to do an insightful fighting. And what that allows me to do is I can make an insight check against a creature that I can see contested by the target's deception check.
Okay.
And if I succeed, I can use my sneak attack against that target.
All right. Against, I'm sorry, what was it? Was it a...
One of the bodyguards, I guess.
Yeah, and what is their saving throw, you said? Sorry?
It's a deception check.
Deception check. Okay. I don't know if this person has any deception, so that is probably good for you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can't even roll that high, so sure.
Fantastic. So then I will attack with my rapier. Let's see if I can do this.
Okay. Yes, 16 does hit.
Perfect. Looks like it's 13 altogether.
13 altogether. Okay, and you said you have advantage? Or it's just sneak? Oh, it's just a sneak attack. Got it.
Yeah, basically gives me free advantage.
Okay.
So for the sneak attack, yeah.
Sounds good. All right, are you done?
Yeah.
All right, so now it is the bad guy's turn. So Aaron is going to let's see. She's kind of mad that you guys hit her, man. So you and Midge are standing close together, correct?
Probably Midge didn't move very far out of the way, so I don't know where Emerson ended up, but she just like 5 or 10 feet.
Okay. All right. So she, being the very powerful wizard that she is going to cast Fireball. And she is going to cast that probably between the two of you. And I'm assuming you guys are standing within a 20-foot radius of each other?
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would think so.
Go ahead and make a dex saving throw, both of you. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So that means that you will take half damage. Let's see here. That is 8d6. My goodness. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay. So 23 plus 6 is 29 divided by 2. So you guys are each going to take 14 points of damage.
Ouch.
Yeah, you guys don't piss off Lady Erin. All right. So now it is going to be her bodyguard's turn. One of the bodyguards is the one that that has not been hit is going to come up to Basalt, since you somehow teleported onto the teleported onto the carriage, and he's going to try and hit you, Basalt. So he is going to try and hit you with his shield. So he's going to shield bash you. And that is going to be... All right. Okay. Does a 24 hit your AC?
24 definitely hits my AC.
Okay. All right. So he is going to deal his damage to you. Okay, and that is 9 damage. Okay, so that's his turn. The other person that you hit, Emerson, is going to come up to try and hit you, and he's going to try and stab you with his spear.
Okay.
So let's see here. Okay. Does a 9 hit you?
Does not.
9 does not hit you, so he misses you. All right, that is their turn. it is now back to the top of the round. Basalt, it is your turn. And Basalt,
Okay.
after you had your wild magic surge, and you popped right onto the top of the carriage, you feel some inspiration coming to you from that cake that you just ate. And you drew the star card. So you get to increase your ability score, 1 ability score by 2.
A ability score by 2. All right,
Correct.
that's great. That's really cool. Does this get to stay forever? Is this like Alice has to deal with this too?
I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for Alice. I'm gonna let her make that
so
determination.
Fair. That's so fair. Yep. Okay. All right. Basil just became so much more charismatic for no reason whatsoever. So.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I mean, these guys are going to beat us up real bad, so I'm just going to play to win. All right, so we're doing that. And my turn now, right? Time to do something?
Yes.
How are these 3 people positioned? Are they grouped in some sort of convenient way, or are they all separated out?
So Erin is still standing next to the door of the carriage. So she, unless you get off the carriage, is out of reach for you. And there is one of the goons kind of right in front of you. He was the one that attacked you with his shield. So
yes, I didn't like that.
Yeah. And then the other person has moved up to the door where Midge and Emerson are standing. So they're separated.
Okay. So yeah, that's not very convenient at all. I guess the person who's directly in front of me, how are they attired? Are they wearing armor?
Yes, they are. They're bodyguards. They're decked out in armor. They have a shield and they have a spear.
Okay, shield and spear. I remember the shield. So with that, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a level 2 burning hand. Well, are there horses in front of me?
There are horses in front of you. Yes.
No, I'm not gonna cook the horses. That's terrible. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cast Scorching Ray on the person in front of me and just do 3 Scorching Rays at him. So I'm just gonna push the button 3 times.
All right. Okay. So 2 of those hit, and the first one does not hit.
Okay. So I'm just gonna throw bolts of fire in his direction, and I guess it does about 18 points of damage.
Ouch. Okay. That hurt. All right. Are you going to do anything else?
That's a good question. So I'm on the seat of the carriage right now, but this person is right there. They'd love to be on the seat of the carriage as well. So I don't really want to move and yield that position. I think I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Midge, it is your turn.
All right. Well, Mitch did not like that fireball. She knew she didn't think she was going to get lit on fire by Aaron. She thought she was going to get lit on fire by Basalt, and now she's confused. Right. But she is going to, I do apologize. Hunter's Mark is a concentration spell, and I don't remember what the roll is for that because she got hit.
I think you have to roll a concentration save if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I think so, but I don't know what one that is. Is it a con?
Yeah. I think it's a con save, yes.
Con save? Okay. Just see if she stuck. Did you press? You did press the 10. I don't know if that makes it or not.
I think 10 does make it. Yes, that just makes it.
Okay. So with Hunter's Mark still on Erin, she is going to draw her bow and shoot an arrow, and I'd like to use one of my 20s, please.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to click the button because it's easier to do the damage that way. She also has Colossus Slayer, which means if the character has been taken down past full hit points, it does more damage.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to put that on as well. If I did it right. Oh, well, it's a good thing I rolled that 20. So Colossus Slayer and Piercing, and I will roll Piercing again for the crit. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What is that? Colossus Slayer probably wouldn't take a double, right? I don't remember. Crits
that I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. I will just do the... if it'll load, that would be great. Plus the 1d6 for Hunter's Mark.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So can you total that up for me?
Sure can. That's 14, 21, 24 damage.
Whew. All right. Okay.
And she's going to move farther away from Emerson so that their blast radius that she saw that fireball hit doesn't hit both of them at the same time again.
Sounds good. All right. Lady Erin is bloodied. Bloodied.
Good.
All right. Emerson, is your turn.
Oh boy. I think I'm going to do bonus action disengage, and then use my movement to get closer to the lady. That's being harassing us, and that just fireballed me, and oh boy. I guess I'll go all in with this one and use one of my natural 20s
All right. Okay.
and attack her with the rapier.
Okay.
So I don't know how to roll just a damage. How did you do that?
I just looked what the damage die was, and then go /R space 1d whatever damage it does.
Oh.
Plus your modifier.
Well, I might just click this and... Oh, come on. There it goes.
Yep. So just roll your damage twice, and does your sneak attack double as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So should I just click it again, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
So 30 altogether.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. She's down.
Ah.
So she is down. She's laying down in front of, not dead, but she's laying down in front of the door of the carriage. However, the 2 bodyguards are still there.
Okay. How are they in melee range with me right now?
So not right now, because you disengage with the other one to move up to Lady Erin, and then the
Right.
other one you probably have to move to get to them, but they are standing in front of Basalt next to where like the driver would be.
Would I be able to, with whatever remaining movement, be able to actually leap into the carriage?
You'd have to open the door.
Okay.
So I think that would be like an additional action.
Right. Could I climb on top?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Great. I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, so it's Lady Erin's turn. She's gonna roll her death saving throw. And she fails. Excellent. First goon, the one that ran over to where you guys were, is going to turn back around. He sees that you are up near the carriage. He sees Midge, who is kind of off to one side. He's going to go after you, Emerson. He's going to run up to the carriage, and he's going to try and stab up at you with his spear as you are on top of the carriage. So he is going to roll his spear attack. Does a 20 hit you?
It sure does.
All right. So that is going to deal, let's see. Oh gosh. 2d6. Okay. All right, come on. That's 8 damage.
Blech.
All right. The second bodyguard, who is next to you, Basalt, is going to continue to shield bash you and try to get you to fall off this seat. So he is going to roll his shield bash attack, which I believe is a +7. It is. All right. Does a 12 hit you?
Unfortunately, yes, that is my exact armor class.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So that is a 2d4 +4. and he will deal you 9 damage.
Okay.
All right. Back to the top of the order. Basalt, it is your turn. You have one bodyguard in front of you. He is bashing you with his shield.
Yeah, it's not nice of him. Okay. If I want to do something like try to intimidate them or remind them of the fact that their boss is down, that's going to take my action, right?
That would, yes, if you want to make an intimidation check.
Intimidation check versus fire. I'm going to go fire, I guess.
Okay.
I will just set them on fire some more. I'm
Okay.
going to do another Scorching Ray, so I'm pushing the button 3 times. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's see if it went through. Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So 2 of those hit again. The first one does not hit.
Okay. And we'll do 15 points of fire damage to this guy.
Okay. All right. This guy is also bloodied. All right. Basalt, anything else you want to do?
No, I really like staying up here better than I want to be on the ground, so I'm
Okay.
going to stay right here.
Sounds good. All right, Midge, it is your turn.
Unmute myself first. That would be helpful. Let's see. Midge is trying to decide whether she wants to get rid of the threat or get Emerson back up on his feet. How injured does the one near Emerson look?
That one's been hit once, I think you know, but he doesn't look bloodied.
Doesn't look bloodied. Okay, Midge is going to use her bonus action to move her Hunter's Mark over from the unconscious Aaron over to the bodyguard in front of Emerson, and
Okay.
she is going to take her movement to move the far side of Emerson, not immediately next to the bodyguard, if that's doable.
Okay. Yep.
And she's going to cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So you're like behind the carriage or on like the other side of the carriage?
Yeah, sorry, I'm having a hard time picturing it, but wherever Emerson is and the bodyguard
Yeah.
is, she's on the other side of
Opposite.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Emerson's between her and the bodyguard.
Got it. So you are basically on the other side of the carriage that you would not have been able to, that side of the carriage you wouldn't have been able to see coming out the doors. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
okay.
fine. Okay.
Perfect.
Go ahead and roll your Cure Wounds dice.
Cure Wounds. 1, 3, 4. That's 7. Oh, please ignore the Colossus Slayer that's attached to that. Just 7.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Okay. Midge, are you doing anything else?
Did you say she has any movement left?
No, not if you have
Nope.
to come all the way around. No, that's definitely, that definitely takes all of your movement.
That's it.
All right, Emerson, you are on top of the carriage. You've just been healed, and one of the guards is attacking you, shoving a spear into you. What are you
Right.
doing?
Oh gosh. Oh man. I would like to try and like grab the spear, jump off of the carriage with my rapier in my hand, and like try and stab him as I'm moving down.
Okay.
Like jumping down, kind of vaulting using the spear and trying to stab the guard.
All right. As you do that, you feel also just a hint of inspiration. So go ahead and add 2 to whatever you're rolling because you have drawn the comet card.
Oh. All right.
And I think this is definitely appropriate. Jumping down, acting like a comet.
Yeah. So add 2. How do I do that?
So whatever you would have rolled, you can also use the roll 20 dice or just roll whatever you want and we can add 2 to it.
Okay. That might just be easier.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a 19.
Yeah, 19 hits.
Perfect. Is it sneak attack since Midge is close by?
No, because there's a carriage between
She's on the opposite end.
Bodyguard
Yeah,
and
okay.
Midge. Yeah, so you don't have flanking or
Okay,
anything
that's
like
fine.
that. Yeah.
So I guess it'd just be 9.
Okay. All right. This guy is also looking a little bloodied. All right. Okay. So Erin is going to roll her death saving throw. I really hope she doesn't die. I like her.
Sorry, really quick. Can I use a bonus action to roll towards Midge off the carriage? Or I guess now.
No, because you
disengage
jumped.
from
Oh yeah.
Bard, I mean, yeah.
To
Sorry.
disengage.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is disengage an action and not a bonus action?
It's a bonus action for a rogue.
For a rogue. Okay, got it. Yes, go ahead. Sure.
Thanks.
All right. So let me roll Aaron's 10. All right. That, I believe, is one success. Okay. It is it is that bodyguard's turn, the one that's next to you, Emerson, the one that you just disengaged with. He's gonna come after you again, and he's gonna again continue to poke at you with his spear. Sorry.
Fair enough.
15. Does that hit you?
It just hits, yeah.
Just hits. Okay. So that is a 2d6 and hits you for 11 points of damage. All right. And the second bodyguard next to you, Basalt, he's just going to continue to do what he feels like has been working, which is to bash you with his shield.
He's going to do what he's going to do.
He's going to do what he's going to do. Honestly, when I found these two guys, there's really not much that they can do. Does 22 hit you, though?
Yeah, that's a good hit.
All right. So shield bash. Okay. And that's going to be 9 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Back to you, Basalt.
So Basalt's pretty hurt. He's not enjoying that very much. So our setup. I'm on the seat of this carriage.
Yes.
There's horses out here in front of me somewhere.
Mhm.
And then this person with the shield is in front there or is like off to my side.
They're off to the side. They're like not where the horses are, because then they wouldn't be able to get to you. But they're like, if you're on the seat, they're like standing next to the carriage, to the side of the carriage.
Okay, so they're not even effectively on the carriage.
They're not on the carriage whatsoever. Maybe they'll have
Okay,
like taken a step up onto that step to be able to bash you more effectively, but they're not really on the carriage.
Okay, so I feel less remorse about that. I'm going to cast Burning Hands as a second level spell.
Okay.
So we've got to make a Dex 14 saving throw.
A Dex 14 saving throw. Okay. They're not very good at Dex, but we can certainly attempt. Okay. Ooh, 13.
Okay, and that was only 3d6. I get to roll one more d6, even though that
Okay.
was not a great roll either way. Oh, ouch.
Okay.
Well, at least there was fire.
Okay. So that's 9 damage total.
That's 9 damage total.
Okay. All right. All right. Midge, your turn.
Okay, Midge is gonna scoot around so that she can see the gentleman attacking Emerson.
Okay.
Because they're on the other side of the carriage. With her hunter's mark on there. I have advantages, right?
You have, I think, one advantage. Everyone has one advantage, correct? Or 2 advantages?
Something
Two?
like that. 2.
Something like that.
I would like to use
All right,
an
yes.
advantage for my attack roll.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool beans, advantage with my bow. Get that Colossus Slayer back on. Okay. Ooh, thank goodness for that. 17?
Yes, 17 hits.
Okay, so this plus 1d6. Oh, sad day. For the hunter's mark.
Mm-hmm.
8 damage.
So 8 damage. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Emerson, your turn.
I will make a death saving throw.
Oh no!
Yeah. There we go. Hey.
All right. That's 1 success. Awesome. Okay. Aaron is also going to make a death saving throw. And succeeds. All right. So the bodyguard that has dropped Emerson is going to come around and try and attack Midge. He is going to. He likes his spear. He's going to use that. Okay. Does 18 hit you?
Yeah.
All right, spear. Okay. And 11 damage. Okay. And the second bodyguard who is attacking you, Basalt, he's going to try and get onto the carriage. He's going to try and get onto the carriage and grapple you. So please make me a strength check or an athletics check.
Can I just use my natural 20 here?
Yes, absolutely. That's
Okay,
fine. Let me
excellent.
just make sure that what happens if he gets a natural 20?
That's a good question. Yeah, then we have to
All
fight
right.
to the death.
Let me just see if he gets a natural 20, but I'm assuming that you're going to succeed here. All right, let's see. Nope. All right, great. So you are not grappled. You have shoved him off effectively, and it is now your turn.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure he got shoved off. Let's see. One more maturity done. Nope, those are all gone. So, yeah, I guess we're going to be down to... Let's try one more Burning Hands on this guy, just as a level 1 spell, because I'm
Okay.
all out of level 2 spells now. Just all damage today. Okay, so he has to make a Dex 14 saving throw.
A Dex 14 saving throw. Okay.
I'll push that.
Once more. It doesn't have a lot of Dex, but no, he does not make it. It's an 8.
Okay, so that's 15 Burning Hands damage.
He's down. All right, so you have burned him, presumably to death, because he now falls back and his burning body is just standing in front of you. Laying in front of you, I guess? Yeah, Midge, it is your turn. So unfortunately, you kind of have drawn one of the bad cards. So why don't you take? You drew the flames card. So unfortunately, having seen what you have seen, you are just frozen in fear. And unfortunately, cannot take a turn.
Oh, that's so sad. Uh-oh. Midge gonna die soon.
Emerson, your turn.
Another death saving throw. Now, did we get 1 or 2 natural 20s?
You get 1 natural 20, but 2 advantages.
Okay, I would like to take an advantage on
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
All
Oh,
right.
hang on.
Well,
All
yeah,
right,
make
there
sure
you
it's
go,
not a
yeah.
20. Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, so that's 2 saves for Emerson, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so that bodyguard that was attacking Emerson and Midge sees his friend fall down. So he's gonna disengage from Midge and walk over to Basalt, and that is gonna be his turn. Basalt, it's your turn.
Just walking over to Basil. That's great. I guess I'll just continue pulling fire for that. I'm going to
Scaring
use
poor
my
Midge
sorcerer
to
stuff.
death.
Yeah, I'm going to use my sorcerer stuff, and I'm going to spend 3 of my sorcery points to get a level 2 spell back.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use that spell to cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp on this guy as he comes up and
Oh my
try to make
gosh.
a big hand grab him out of the earth.
Okay. Strength save?
It's a strength save, yeah.
Strength save. Okay. Unfortunately, he's much better at strength than he is at the other stuff.
I thought that might be the case, but we'll see.
Oh, but that's a 12. Okay.
Okay, so he's just going to get grabbed.
So he's just
And
grappled.
this is it's a big dragon-looking claw that has reached out of the earth and is just holding him there.
Okay. Can he make a save on his turn to try and get out of this?
This is kind of messed up because yes, it says on its action it can make a strength save against the DC again.
Okay, got it.
Strength check, not a save.
Strength check, not a save. Okay. Midge, it's your turn.
Oh, she can move again. That's
You
wonderful.
can move now.
Sorry, Basalt, you looked like you were about to say something.
I was going to say Basil's going to get down off the carriage at this point and walk in the direction of Emerson and Midge.
Okay.
All right, well, Midge is gonna shoot him.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Alrighty.
Does he get any cover because he's being grappled by this big dragon hand, Basalt?
That's a great question. Does anything useful happen to this person? It doesn't sound like he gets any good stuff. It sounds like he just gets bad stuff.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, Mr. Longbow. 16.
16 hits. Yeah. If it meets, it beats.
All right, and with our lovely Huntress Mark. Ooh. 11, 19? Is my math right?
Yeah, 19. Describe to me what happens, Midge, when you kill this gentleman who is being squeezed inside this dragon's claw.
Great. So when Midge shakes off the vision of being engulfed in flames, she kind of like loosens herself up, takes aim, takes a very, very precise aim while she's shooting at this guy, and through the hands that are gripping him, through one of the fingers, she hits a very, very vital point in him just with her one shot.
All right. Nice. So the three of you have defeated Lady Erin and her two bodyguards. I believe the two bodyguards are dead, and Lady Erin is laying on the ground. What do you do?
Midge is gonna go heal Emerson.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're just gonna. You can have some cure wounds. Here you go. Please ignore the Colossus Slayer. 9 points.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are you all bloodied?
Untie.
Do you all like look kind of roughed up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I died twice.
Okay, sounds good.
You died twice.
Oh no.
Good job.
All
Fred.
right.
You got us.
Okay. What next?
I'm like, oh. Fight's over. Okay, good.
Yeah, Basil's gonna go into Lady Nora.
Okay. So you go in, you open the door. Lady Nora is very much awake. She is just bound hand and foot, and she's gagged. So you're gonna unbind her
Yeah.
and ungag her. Okay, all right. So you do that, and she says, "I don't know what happened, but thank you. What happened out there?"
There was a fight. Basically, you've been kidnapped, and we are freeing you so
Oh, yeah.
that you can go back about your business. Yes.
I got the kidnapping part. Yes.
Right. Yes.
Was that Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't expect that. You know, we were good friends in college. I don't know what's going on. Can we just get back to the house, please? Who are
It's
you?
right there. I'm Basil Velderan from House Thrashed, and this is Midge and Emerson.
Hi.
She just looks like she's like in shock. She has like no comprehension of what's going on. She thinks that one of her like best friends from college just tried to kidnap her.
It's fair.
Kind of what happened here.
Midge is gonna kind of like shuffle over and take the ropes that were tying Lady Nora, and she's like, "Oh, excuse me, pardon me. I'm gonna reuse these. You know, repurpose, recycle, reuse." She's gonna take the ropes and she's gonna go tie up Aaron.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Sure.
Thanks.
Is Aaron still with us?
Yeah, she is alive. She did succeed 2 saving throws.
Okay.
So you guys one of you can do a medicine check to stabilize her, or heal her if that's what you would like to do.
Out of healing spells.
And try and do a medicine check. Ooh, I think I made it worse. Maybe we should just
Yeah.
go inside.
Oh no. You have no idea what
You
you're
don't use the
doing.
rapier for that.
She'll actually just see if she makes another saving throw and is stabilized. Let's see. No, she does not. Okay, that's 2 fails.
Yeah, maybe we should just get her inside.
Midge, do you want to try, or
I guess I can try. I don't know if I'm much better at this, but oh, that's a 4.
No.
Not at advantage. She's much worse at it, actually.
No one knows how to stabilize her. Yeah. So do you want to go inside? Do you want to? kill Lady
Just
Erin?
carry her inside with
Yes.
Lady Nora.
She's bound though, so if she does wake up,
All right.
Mitch doesn't trust her.
All right, so the three of you bring Lady Nora, who is able to walk but is very shaky, and Lady Erin, who is bound now and very unconscious and bloody, back into the door that you came through, back up the stairs, back into Lady Nora's room, through the kitchen, and back into the ballroom. And when you get to the ballroom, things have mostly calmed down. Most people are sitting down. You see that Emma and some of the other advisors and also people higher up in House Cannith have gone around and they're kind of questioning people and trying to kind of get everybody's story straight. And off in one corner, you can see that the governor and Quathi Dorian are seated apart. They look like they're quite angry with each other, but they've kind of, said everything they have had to say. And poor Lord Elaine, who's kind of sitting in between them, not sure what to do.
There's still cake on the table.
There's still cake on the table, yes.
Perfect.
Is there anyone here that can heal?
I think when you walk in and you're bloody and you say that, all eyes turn to you. And there's like a collective gasp that goes through.
We found Lady Nora and her supposed kidnapper.
And as soon as you say that, Lady Nora just kind of runs forward and kind of like runs into her mother's arms. She's like crying, they're comforting each other. And Quathi Dorian stands up and says, "What happened?"
Midge, Emerson, do you want to relate your tale?
There was a lot of fire. And Nora was in a carriage and it looked like they were about to leave, but Lady Erin was there with two guys. They're dead, I'm sorry. But we brought Erin back. She's tied, but she's dying, I think. We're not very good at medicine. Sorry, we tried. She might still live. I don't know. And yeah, and then Nora.
So at this point, I think Nora and Joran, they've kind of stopped hugging each other. They've turned, and Jorlana turns to you and says, "Thank you for bringing back my daughter. I don't understand why Lady Erin would do this." And she kind of waves her hands, and a few people come up, and they kind of carry Lady Erin off away from you. And she turns to the three of you and says, "Thank you for bringing back my daughter to me. For what you've done, I will give you a boon from House Cannith. So whatever favor you may want, as long as I am leader of House Cannith West, I will grant that to you. And of course, you shall be richly rewarded. Emma will take care of that, I'm sure. And Basalts Velduran, is it?
Yes, that's right.
We will be sure to let House Tharashk know about this deed."
Very good, thank you.
And she turns to Midge and Emerson and says, "Is there anything that the two of you may want from the House of Cannith?"
If you have any interesting cases, missing persons, or, any good detective work, I hand them a very bloodied card. Be sure to look me up.
I will keep that in mind. And she looks like she might be a little bit disgusted by the bloody card, but she kind of like takes it all in stride and like puts it into one of her pockets.
I'll mail you a new one. Don't worry.
Well, you see, I've got some siblings at home that are currently looking for work. Do you have any employment that you might be able to offer a few halflings?
Definitely, there are things that I can think of. Send me along your information and we'll talk. For now, why don't you continue to enjoy the party and the cake? All right.
Thank you.
And so the three of you pass the rest of the night at the party. Basalt, I'm assuming that after the party ends, you're going to go and let your house know that you've completed this deed. And Mitch and Emerson, you definitely rise in the ranks as you are recognized by House Canna.
Cool.
The end.
Yay!
Yay!
Good work. Good show.
Alrighty.
Oh my goodness, what a fantastic one-shot. Thank you so much, Faye. Everyone, that was absolutely amazing.
Yes, thank
Faye's
y'all.
first time DMing on stream, like in a viewer game as well. Amazing. Thank you so much, Faye. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, of course. This was fun.
Of course. Before we go around and say goodbye to everyone around the screen, let's do some. We'll talk about our sponsors. We'll talk about what we do here at the Academy and all the places you can find us. But also, I think we've got a few viewers in chat. We've got a lot of love going on in chat. Why don't we spread that love after we've all wrapped up here and gone through the credits? Why don't we take you all off on a little raid? And when we do that raid, why don't we start a hype train? Can I see ones in chat if you want to go somewhere else and start a hype train while we're doing the wrap up? That would be fantastic. Before we go around, we'll do the other thing. Like I said, I made a plan and then I'll stick to it. Social links. Check out all of our social links, including our Discord, Twitter, and YouTube. Discord, you can come and you can come on into the Discord. If you only see one channel, don't worry, you haven't been blocked. You just need to give yourself access by agreeing to our code of conduct. And then you will see everything again. Twitter, if you want to get into a game, send me a DM and I will send you, I will get you on my waiting list and send you a form to get you on into a game. And YouTube, thousands of hours of content over there. Also, check out our sponsors, Hero Forge, who have all of your mini requirements covered. Also, check out Mage Hand Press for all of your expansions in 5e. They currently have 25% off on all of their PDFs. Dungeon Fog. If you want to go and create some of your very own maps for VTTs or print out, then go and check them out. And last but most certainly not least, the Deck of Many. You saw some of their cards today, affecting play. Expertly handled once again by Faye. Let's go around and say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for coming along on this amazing stream. Let's go the other way around and start with Hans.
Oh, hey, I'm Hans. I'm going to be here next week, so look out for that. On Sundays, I do The Witcher Crimson and Ash over on Salty Sweet Games, and this Saturday, I'm actually going to do a stream on my channel and do some game design stuff. So it's crazy. I have other stuff to plug. I don't usually do that. This was so much fun. Faye was awesome. The guests were awesome. Everything was awesome. I'm just going to spin around in my chair for a while.
I love that. I love that. I think we have a gif of that somewhere. We do. That exact spin. I know it. Next around the screen, we have that Dave guy.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and thank you for allowing me to be on the stream. Thank you, Faye, for an amazing journey. You did a fantastic job, and thank you, everyone. This is a fantastic opportunity. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Next around, we have Dungeon Dame. Dame!
Dungeon Dame, thanks so much, Faye, again. Seriously, you killed it. So good for your first DM on stream. You can find me over on my channel. I paint miniatures for D&D, and often on Stella Luna's channel. We play some Dark Matter over there and do some one-shots over there. Occasionally, I DM on those, too.
Fantastic. I can't wait to go and check that out. Last but most certainly not least, our wonderful DM of the day, Faye!
Hi, I'm Faye. You can find me on my other podcasts. I play on How the Quest Was Won, which is at How the Quest on Twitter. And also I play in The Cast of Many Things, or Misfits Guide to Adventuring, which you can also find on Twitter. And of course, I'm here on Wednesdays doing this, but usually as a player. But this is lots of fun. Thank you, Scrat. Thank you, our players. This is so much fun. My first time DMing on stream. So yay.
Fantastic. Well, I saw enough ones in chat to start a hype train on most channels, so I think we will be going and doing that. I'll put a raid cry in chat. There will be a raid coming after these credits, and until next time, everyone, keep on evoking emotions. We'll see you next week. Bye.